It's time for Geek Gamer Weekly.
Center of the most calculating intelligence on Earth.
The Uber Podcast, just for geeks and gamers.
We have news for the beautiful people. There's a lot more of us than our view.
With your hosts, Joseph Falbey,
Men wanted to be like him. Women wanted to be with him.
John Kessler,
He will be talked about in the same way that Rockefeller and Carnegie and Ford are talked about.
and Chase Nunes.
For your information, butthead, he's headed for the video championships in Los Angeles.
Now, live from Earth.
Everything that happens now is happening now.
What happened to then?
Past that.
When?
Just now.
It's Geek Gamer Weekly.
This is Geek Gamer Weekly, episode number 202, recorded on Sunday, May 20th, 2012, the FlowMaster. Geek Gamer Weekly is brought to you by Minecraft Me. Learn everything there is to know about the wonderful game of Minecraft at geekgamer.tv/MinecraftMe. And by LiveView. LiveView is a company that is the pioneer of portable video over cellular solutions that help you reach your target audience. You can go live anywhere at any time. For more information, visit LiveView, that's the letter U.tv. Hey everybody, welcome again to another edition of Geek Gamer Weekly. This is the Uber Podcast for geeks and gamers. Welcoming you all to episode number 202. That's the exit off the freeway you get to my house.
202?
202.
That is?
Yes, it is. We have a great show. We have a very special guest here in the studio. So let's get right to the introductions. First off, my name is Chase Nunes. You guys probably already know that. And here in the studio, wouldn't be a Geek Gamer Weekly without this gentleman right here, Mr. John Kessler. We go to John Kessler first.
I know, I was just joking.
John Kessler, you can follow him on Twitter at VWKenny.
Lies.
And we will match your shirt that you have on down there. Look at that. Isn't that nice?
It's a,
Doug Berg Performance.
yeah, it's a Doug Bird shirt, though.
I don't even know what that means.
That's fine.
Okay.
Don't have to.
How are you doing?
Just Ducky.
Very good. No camera for you to turn to, by the way. That was pretty hilarious last week.
Oh, the
over-the-shoulder shot. Yeah.
Yes.
Just Ducky. All right, fine. We don't care. Let's move on.
We got more important people
We
than
have more
me.
important people
Yes.
to get to. Next guy here, he's he's sitting in the very special chair.
He's like the kids' table.
He's in the he's in new spot number 4, Mr. Giancarlo Lenzi.
How's it going?
Good, buddy.
Good.
You know what's kind of weird? Now I can turn and talk to you over here.
Yeah, instead of looking at me creepily like you're looking at the camera.
I bet Alex is feeling the same way here.
He's like, why is he looking at me so much?
We'll get to our special guest here in a minute because he's going to get the grand introduction at the very, very end. Also joining us this week, he heads up the Oregon Bureau of Technology, Gaming Research and Development. Here he is, folks. Not wearing his gunner optics. I'm very disappointed.
No gunners?
Yeah, they're right over there.
But Joseph Falbey, what's up, Joe? How are you, man?
Hey, pretty good. I thought there was technology in that title somewhere, too.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Global Research and Technology and Research Center of Oregon.
Something like that, yeah. Here. Does that make you feel better, Chase?
Yes, it does make me feel better. You're looking great now. Now I can see you better in high definition.
It's not high definition. It's eye-soothing yellow. It actually kind of annoys my eyes.
Well, thanks for coming on, Joe. On the show, Joe.
They make you sound better.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay,
yeah.
Well, maybe I will keep them on then. Let's keep my eyes closed so I don't have to see anything.
So we have a very special guest here in the studio, in the flesh this week. He is a guy that I met on Twitter. Actually, I followed him when I saw one of his. I should have had one queued up. He does some really cool videos called the TWiT Edit Facility Update. He's very famous from that. But actually, he's one of the engineers over there at TWiT that helps keeps the big podcasting machine humming along. Here he is, folks, in the flesh, right here in the studio. Alex Gumpel. What's up, Alex?
Hey, Jay. Nice to meet you. Good to be here.
My name's Joe, but that's okay.
Oh, Joe. Sorry.
That's all right. So, Alex, welcome to the Pacific Northwest. What brings you to this part of the world?
I wanted an excuse to come visit Seattle, and Jammer B from TWiT invited me to a concert up here, and so this week I'm going to go see that.
Very good.
And that was a good excuse to come to Seattle.
Awesome. Well, Now, I know what you do at TWiT. A lot of people...
No, you don't.
You're right. I really do. Now I feel more awkward than ever now. But no, seriously, you work at This Week in Tech. You've been there for a couple of years now.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. You want to explain to some of the people who probably are not familiar. You don't look like Leo. You're not on camera really. You might see you in passing running back and forth. But what do you do over there at TWiT?
Oh God, I don't know what I do. I try to keep things working and operational and keep everyone happy. Maintain the system along with all the other engineers that we have there. Specifically, I'm more in charge of the kind of the video workflow internally,
okay.
Like what happens when the video gets recorded and where it's stored and how it's edited and exported and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
And organized.
And organized, yeah.
Workflow. They call me the FlowMaster.
And hence why I added the FlowMaster to your lower just for you.
Just for me. That's how
if you ever want to transition to porn.
I'm halfway there.
You're halfway there.
And he's a pretty decent bowler. Or
no,
not really. All right. So obviously you do a lot of stuff over there at TWiT, and you're kind of a jack of all trades. But is there, do you work on primarily a couple of shows, or do you just do pretty much everything?
I'm also an editor partner. I used to be more of an editor. Now I'm less of an editor, more engineer. So I edit a few specific shows, and then I also technical direct a few shows. But and as far as engineering goes, I think we're all just kind of general, just around for everything. None of us are assigned to a specific show for engineering reasons, but because our shows are fairly simple, it's mostly just being around for the setup and just in case anything blows up during the show, being able to just run in and go fix it,
right?
That kind of stuff.
Now, this is for all the techno geeks out there who love this stuff. Can you explain briefly? I know this is gonna be a tough question, but briefly.
20 words or less.
No, not 20 words or less. But briefly, the kind of setup that really TWiT has. I mean, it's you were showing me videos earlier, and obviously we've seen a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff before, but it's a pretty massive setup.
Yeah, it's relatively cheap, I think, for what we actually do. But we record everything to a SAN with the video setup that we have, but we also stream everything. So everything is switched live, similar to the way that you do it here. And then it's we use a TriCaster for that, and then out of the TriCaster, it goes to machine running Wirecast, where it goes out to our content people or whatever providers, and then it also goes then to a machine that's running Final Cut, where we click capture, and then it just saves the video onto a SAN, and then it's edited and exported.
What are your biggest challenges over there at TWiT? And I don't want to get you in trouble or anything. I'm just curious. I mean, what's like the biggest hiccup or biggest issue you've had to run into at this point?
So far, it's moving to the new studio. When we launched, it was about a week before we launched, was where we all went over and turned the machines on for the first time. So that we had a proof of concept about a week before we launched. By the time we launched, it was a prototype. So we had everything plugged in and configured, but we had never actually tested it really, because that's not how TWiT does things.
Sure.
We just like to jump in and see what happens.
Right.
So about that first month, there was a lot of just running around and like something just doesn't work, and we have to figure out why, and just like replacing pieces and stuff. We were using a different technology than Skype for a while, or trying to. That was having some problems, so we had to like have Skype up and running as backup, and it was just a lot of just that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff.
How intense is it there during your like an 8-hour? How long days do you work, and how intense is it during that work day?
Well, yesterday, for instance, I was there till 2 a.m, and so I've only slept about 30 minutes since yesterday and today. So some days are short, and but some days are long. It depends on if there's anything special that needs to be done. They're like an additional project, and to like just the usual stuff. Mm-hmm. That can sometimes add longer days. But it's usually, it's at least 8 hours, but frequently it can go to 12 hours. Wow.
But you do have sometimes flexibility to do creative things and do things on your own.
Right. And yeah,
have fun with that.
A lot of the time, we're there for that long, but it's not necessarily that we're just sitting, like actually constantly working. We have like between show setups, so sometimes we don't have much to do, so we're just kind of sitting around waiting for the next thing. And sometimes we goof off, have fun, we make our stupid videos or whatever.
So so speaking of stupid videos, I'll give the people here a preview of some of the stupid things that you do. So check this out.
Welcome to TWiT Edit Facility Update for June 30th, 2011. I am Alex. With me today are my two great buddies, Tony and Jeff. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Thanks, Alex. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Great, Jeff. Thanks for asking. So
I gotta say, I really love the dry humor that you guys have and doing this stuff. This looks like this was back in the cottage.
This is back in the cottage. This is last summer.
So these guys here that we're seeing over your shoulders, are these guys still working with you?
Yeah, they're
cool.
They're editors. Tony's actually been promoted now to do some more administrative stuff. But
cool.
Yeah, that's Jeff. He's an editor. And all these kind of things, the TWiT Edit Facility stuff, that was all kind of Jeff's idea, and he comes up with the concepts, and then we kind of work with it and make it into something.
Well, obviously, what you do over there, sometimes, obviously since you're not in front of the camera and you're not, a host and you're not doing those sorts of things, I think a lot of the work that you do can get lost and a lot of people don't appreciate. I know that from my perspective, from a geek's perspective and an engineer's perspective, it takes a lot to keep an engine going like TWiT, especially. So,
right.
No, hands off to you. I mean, really, you do some awesome work, and
we I mean, like the long days, we kind of do that voluntarily because we know these things have to be done, and we're happy. And most of us, at least, I think, are happy to keep it going and do what it takes to do that.
Well, you're also go ahead.
Have you ever been yelled at
by Leo?
We've all been in the hot seat at least once in our TWiT careers. But it's it just blows over quickly, and then it's fine after that.
Okay. Cool. Joe, did you have any questions you wanted to fire off to Alex here before we move on to some of our normal everyday business?
I don't know. I guess, is there any specific segment or piece of work that you've done over there at TWiT that you're really, really proud of, that you'd really like us to show off or talk about?
Nothing that we can show on a G-rated fashion, unfortunately.
Today on FlowMaster.
FlowMaster.
Since I'm an engineer, not a producer or host or anything, isn't there's no real segment if anything official. It's just all that behind the scenes stuff, which we upload to our Inside TWiT YouTube account. Just it's kind of an unofficial thing that's on the side.
What's your favorite thing to do at your work? Is there a favorite thing you like to do?
I just designing a new thing and then a new process and actually making it work, and that's always
now
gratifying.
you helped design the whole new encoding process over there, right?
Right.
That's from the ground up,
right? And that's still being worked on. It was me and then Colin and Russell and John have all kind of worked together on getting that going. Because I'm an editor, I know the process of what we have to go through to export and publish a show. So I'm there mostly as I know what needs to be simplified, and so I'm there to give that a voice and get that going. Colin is more technical on, and actually Russell is more technical on actual deep in the encoding stuff. But we had a company called Mediafly who used to publish our video, and they would actually do all the encodes. But so
you would send them the big master file,
right,
and then they would
we would export a file, compress it to an a high quality H.264 and upload that. And they would take that and make the versions, the files that you download. But they got out of the podcast business, so we had to come up with our own system. And we have a temporary kind of workaround in place right now, using FFmpeg and a script that just that processes the file. But we're working on a whole new thing where we're going to have an internal website that you can go to where it's just one form where you fill out the title and the episode number and the show and the host and everything. It's just one form, and then you click go, and it'll just do everything.
Cool.
It'll publish the feeds and encode the video and send it all out in one big happy process.
Final question before we move on to the geek stuff and gaming stuff and the stuff that we do on the show. Who is the worst person that you ever have to work with at TWiT? No, I'm kidding.
Besides myself?
No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing around. No, I was going to ask you, can you tell us a little bit about your background as we transition into these topics? Like, what's your geek background? Do you game? I mean, what do you like to do when you're not having to slave at TWiT?
Well, I've always been a computer guy, and that's kind of why I wanted to work at TWiT, is because it looks like you get all this cool stuff to play with.
A lot of high microphones to get to play with.
A lot of high microphones. And it's we're gonna have to do something about this.
Uh-oh.
I think. And
no.
I come from the professional podcast world, and I'm
Wait.
not here
Did you travel with your own microphone?
I didn't want to just come out with.
Oh no.
Just we have to put this in. So I can't stand this. Sure.
Oh, hold on. Let me
go ahead. Go cut my mic.
Let me mute his channel real quick. Oh, not in time, unfortunately. So Alex is right now unplugging, which is a decent microphone. It's a digital reference Audio Technica microphone, and now he's taking it off. I'm giving a play-by-play commentary because not everybody downloads the video. So right now he's unscrewing it very carefully.
I think he's getting frustrated. You didn't realize it. It's 9,000 threads longer.
Did you say frustrated?
Frustrated?
The FlowMaster is getting frustrated.
The FlowMaster is frustrated. So easy. All right, so I'll pull the camera off of him a minute here. Everybody's just mesmerized by him putting on hardware.
This is fancy. This is some fancy stuff here.
Uh-oh. I'm a little scared, man.
I'm surprised at this nice.
He's now pulling out a welder.
Nice
he's putting out a torch.
Equipment.
Ooh, he brought a PR40 of his very own. Oh, very nice.
This makes us look terrible.
No. All right, go ahead.
Now let's see if this works.
Oh,
that's so much better. Oh my god, that's just beautiful.
It's just like being back at the cottage, right?
Yeah,
you have to redo the sound check now.
Let's see if we get the going.
Oh, very good. Actually,
right, so it's like I'm back at work.
Turn your fez a little bit this way. There you go. You want to get the money shot in there.
There. It's perfect.
As Beef says in our chat room, that's the longest screw ever. So congratulations, Mr. FlowMaster.
That's what I'm known for.
The longest screw ever. Hey, speaking of longest screws, did you hear that Mark Zuckerberg got married? All right, I'm sorry. I was just trying to make a transition. Actually, I wanted to talk about Facebook. Facebook had their huge IPO. It wasn't, huge per se. I mean, granted, it made, Mark Zuckerberg a lot of money, and the company is now public. I think they were trading, $38 a share. But obviously in our circles, I use Facebook, but John doesn't. Joe doesn't really mess around with it much anymore. Is this significant for us in our lifetime? I mean, that was my question for us young guys here, that deal with this stuff. Does it matter for us? I mean, Giancarlo, what do you think? I mean, you don't use Facebook much, do you?
I have a Facebook account. I do post every once in a while. I look what my friends are doing sometimes, but no, not really. I'm not big into social networks.
Okay.
I like the movie though.
Social network. Do you guys think that this is going to turn into a Google where the shares are going to eventually come up, and as Facebook begins to innovate and start and trying new things?
I don't know.
New things scare me.
But then again,
but your Facebook profile is private and not public. You have to be friends for you to find out information about you, probably.
I think I'm public.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I should change that. But,
you have a huge fan base.
Now.
Now.
Well, what can I say?
After being on this show, you will.
John.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
John, you're still not on Facebook.
That's right.
Will you ever go to Facebook? Ever?
No.
You will only deal with email, texting, and Twitter.
And Windows XP.
And Windows XP.
Yes.
On his Itronic Squeezer.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm on IRC here with you guys, our listeners.
And that's good enough for him.
And I've got my, we've got Skype open right there. That's enough. And I do the show. I mean, that's...
You hold down the chat room.
Yeah.
It's important.
But, no, like he said, new things...
Alex is his name,
What did you call me?
He.
He, okay.
Yeah, I said he.
He spoke.
You will
He
refer to
spoke.
him as the FlowMaster.
The FlowMaster.
I think we already found our title, by the way. The FlowMaster.
Master FlowMaster.
Joe, you're the voice of reason here. You haven't said much, which is odd. But Facebook, IPO, would you buy? Did you buy?
I did not buy, and I probably wouldn't buy, but I should buy.
Everybody should.
Yeah.
You think so?
The thing about Facebook that I think is a little bit frightening is how integrated it's gotten into some portions of society.
Yeah.
It's more than just people talking to each other down. Now we're talking about businesses conducting entire segments of their world going over Facebook. How often do you hear about a radio program holding a contest that's only over Facebook? And stuff like that. And I think that's, for me at least, that's a bigger concern than anything else with Facebook. But and makes it mean that Facebook probably isn't going away anytime soon, for better or worse.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, employers have been asking employees for their passwords. I mean, now it's illegal, and you shouldn't have been able to do it. But if you think about how big that is, and how many a billion people are connected on Facebook. A billion people.
I just thought, when Microsoft came out and Apple came out, everybody goes, "Ooh, that's too new. That's not, by stock." It's like, I'm not going to run out myself, but I guess it does seem like it probably would be an interesting bet.
Are we potentially here missing the boat? Are we missing the boat? Are we missing our opportunity right now to become millionaires or be able to retire off of Facebook stock? I mean, obviously, if you got on the ground floor at Apple, you're doing pretty good. If you got in the ground floor at Microsoft, you're doing pretty good. At Google, I think you're doing really good. Are we missing an opportunity? Are we missing an opportunity?
I don't think so, and the reason I don't think that is we've already seen. I mean, Facebook as a privately held company already grew so much that it's at the point now where it seems unlikely that it's going to explode 100 times bigger than it already is, or 1,000,000 times bigger than it already is, which is what the other companies did in the past.
Yeah, I think for a social network to be valued at this much when they go public, I can only feel like it's just gonna go downhill. That it'll be something like MySpace when they got bought by Fox. That is just went downhill.
Oh, and Fox, man, I bet they felt great about that investment.
What was it, 250
Rupert
million?
Murdoch. Yes, let's want to check. Isn't he Australian? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Crikey. Sorry. Right. Well, I mean, we'll see how it happens. So let's put out predictions, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Do you think that Facebook is going to go up in value over the next 5 years or go down? I say it's going to go up. It's going to go up a lot, and I'm going to be kicking myself in the butt for not investing into it. But that's just me, John. Now, you're not a social media guy, but if you had $10,000 and you had to yes or no buy Facebook stock, would you?
If I had an extra 10,000, probably would.
You probably would. Even though you don't use the site. That would be incredible.
Well, yeah, but...
Yeah. And then you would start using the site.
Yeah.
You get a free Facebook account with every share.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. 10,000. But it's like, if I had an extra 10,000, I'd be like, oh, yeah, spend it over here. It probably wouldn't bother me too much if it did tank.
Giancarlo, yes or no?
Extra 10,000?
And the requirements are either you spend it on Facebook or you can't.
Yeah, is it just a clear-cut yes or no? I can't explain?
Well, no, you can explain, sure.
Here's why
No, you can't. Sorry. Okay, let's move on. No,
all right.
Go ahead.
Here's why I would be hesitant, because it already has 1 billion people connected to Facebook.
Are you saying who else can they connect?
Who else
China.
can they connect?
I don't think it's about that, though, man.
But what else can they do to make the company more valuable?
Oh, gosh. I mean, there's so much more things. I mean, one of the things, and we don't have a story about this, but I believe the stock price for Zynga dropped as soon as Facebook went public. Because I think Facebook's going to start pulling in more things internally. They're going to innovate and start doing more things. I mean, obviously, there's the whole mobile space out there. There's more emerging countries to get involved with. I think
it's the Facebook OS.
I
mean, Google,
wouldn't put it past it.
I mean, Google made an OS.
I'd be hesitant. I'd have to ask a broker and be like, is this something good to invest in? I don't know. I would have to say no right now.
Okay, Alex, you're next here. What do you think, man?
Sure. If I had the extra money, why not?
Yeah, why not? It's an emerging technology. They're probably going to make you billions of bucks.
It's extra money. If I lose it,
it comes directly out of your house, right?
That's fine.
Who needs a house? Joe, you get the final word on this one.
I don't think so. I'm not going to sell any of my Apple stock to buy Facebook stock. I'm going to put it that way, at least.
You're so good on Apple stock, by the way.
Yeah, I'm staying with that. I think Facebook probably will go up a little bit, but it introed it at what, $45 a share, and is now dropped to 38.
Yeah.
So
it was disappointing.
Whether it's going to go up a whole lot, I don't know.
It's just one day. It's just we don't have a history yet. I mean,
I know
that's
we don't
the
have a
problem
history
right
yet.
now. We don't have a history.
But again, I'm with Giancarlo. I don't know what they're going to do to draw more people in. If they actually have 1 billion people on Facebook, then they've got 1/6 of the world's population on Facebook. They're not going to. I can't imagine how they're going to expand that much more. I guess more Chinese people, except that in China you can't use Facebook. You have to use the state's social media platform.
They will create their own Facebook. They'll call it Facebook China.
FBC.
But it'll be state controlled, and it won't be part of the company that we're talking about.
Yeah.
It'll be a different entity. So, I don't know. I probably wouldn't. I mean, if I had a spare 10 grand floating around that I didn't care about, that I didn't care if I won or lost or made anything off of it, I would probably still not buy Facebook stock with it. I would probably buy Apple stock or something else.
I'd probably invest like 1/10 of that 10,000 into it just to see where it would go. If I
well,
had
you
that
can see where it goes and not risk any money on it too.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. It's just yes or no. That was the question.
Oh, I love clear-cut answers because they draw out such great discussion. Neo Mouse in the chat room says he's gonna watch it get to 150 and then it's gonna tank. That's his prediction. But wasn't John C. Dvorak? I want to say when Google stock, he's like, it's gonna 300. It's gonna cap at 300. Is that a good John C. Dvorak? No, it's not. It's gonna get to 300. And then it's going to tank. But it's like, what is it? What was it Google now? What's 450? I don't know. I'm not a stock dude.
Google's at $600.
All right, see, there you go.
And then it's going to cap.
Then it's going to crash. So.
Apple's at 530 right now, which is actually a low for them for the last 3 months.
That's because none of these Google and Apple, they haven't split stock.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think Facebook will be successful. And we're going to see new innovative things come down the pipe from them. They have to. They are now a public company, and they still have to be profitable for their number one shareholder. Who is? Zuckerberg. Sorry, man, you guys.
What?
Their number one shareholder is Zuckerberg.
Something that is kind of interesting, though, is
who?
Facebook. I don't want to beat a dead horse too much, but I'm going to.
Steve Zuckerberg.
Facebook came out with 2.74 billion public shares. Now, that's total number of shares that are out there in the world. That's how many are available to purchase. As a comparison, Google still only has 326 million.
Wow.
And Apple has 935 million. So on a per share basis, I don't think this is too out of line. I think Google really overestimated how much their worth was by introducing this many shares. If they'd introduced a 500 million or a billion shares, I think we would have seen it shoot up like rockets, just like Google's did. But they introduced over 2.5 times what Apple, as an example, has out there in the number of shares. And Apple's been around since the 70s.
Part of me wants to ask all you guys, would you rather have Facebook shares or Google shares? But that's a whole nother discussion for another day.
Google. I'll just say Google.
See?
I would say Google.
Yeah, see, me too. There you go. Well,
even though it's on its way down.
Because Google isn't just being a search engine anymore. They've developed Android.
Yeah.
They're going into tablets. They're going into more OSs and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's. I understand your viewpoint, Chase, in that Facebook has to expand.
Yeah.
I just can't see where they would expand that would be worthwhile for them.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's a great discussion. It's a cool thing that we're getting to see right now in our time. It's really cool.
Next up, your Facebook phone.
There's been phones with Facebook buttons on
I
them,
know.
so don't put it past it. Here's another huge topic that's important to me. I know it's important to people over at TWiT or for anybody who makes content for internet consumption. Comcast, the nation's, I believe they are the nation's largest ISP, announced some changes to their bandwidth caps. They have said that they're going to institute trials for 2 new policies that involve higher 300 gig monthly limits. So one of the plans involves offering 300 gigs as a base on its Essentials, Economy, and Performance Internet packages, and higher limits on its Blast and Extreme tiers, with extra available as an add-on, possibly for $10 for 50 gigs. The other plan is simply bumps all tiers to 300 gigs per month and offers the additional blocks as needed. For markets where it's not testing the new plans, it's suspending enforcement of the 250 gigabyte that cap entirely for now, although it says that it will still contact excessive users about their usage. Now, this is a very interesting topic because recently Comcast was dragged into the news because of their Xfinity app on the Xbox 360 by saying that if you use that app and you have a Comcast connection, that data will not be counted against your cap. Because according to Comcast, since it's running through their tubes, I love that term, and running through their system, it doesn't count. Obviously, Netflix doesn't like that very much. They had responded by saying that's not fair. They started stomping their feet down like a little kid and said that's not fair. So, John, I'm going to go to you first. Now, you're a Comcast business user, so you're not under these caps. But let's say you were back in the residential days. Mm-hmm. Now, with them possibly throwing in overages, how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, the 300 gig, I mean, yeah, it's 50 gig more. I would have been hard pressed to break that. I think. I mean, it was only a couple times that I even came close to the 250.
Right. And so you're saying you'll never go over it? You would never go over it, so it's not a big deal to you?
Well, no. I'm saying, though, I mean, it is nice that they gave that, their 50 gig buffer because, yeah, I don't think there's going to be as many people bumping over that anymore.
See, my thing is, it's the story of the frog in the boiling pot of water. They want us to get used to, this is such a huge cap, you're never going to use it up. But obviously, as more and more people are starting to get their content, I mean, let me ask you, is this something that ever comes up at TWiT, Alex? I know you may not be privy to those conversations, but like bandwidth caps across the country, I mean, obviously you're putting out HD now. I mean, has that ever been a concern?
Well, I know it's been discussed on TWiT all the time on the shows, but I don't know if it's been discussed in terms of our strategy or whatever.
But when you encode, you always want to try to make a high quality file that's small.
Right, and we go more for speed than size for data caps.
Sure.
But it would be unfair if, say, it's Comcast's own content that they produce gets favored over us for, like, if they can get away free with their stuff, but our stuff costs users their bandwidth, and that's kind of.
It's like net neutrality.
Well, here's Comcast, right? They're obviously a content provider. They have cable. They have a lot of channels that they actually own. It's in their best interest to prevent people from going on the internet and getting content and having Comcast turn into, I know Leo's used this term, a dumb pipe provider. Comcast does not want to be that. So you have two different divisions at Comcast, the internet division who provides the bandwidth, and obviously now they're trying to monetize overages. That's...
Yeah. It's like cell phones,
Well...
It's turning into cell phones for data caps.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, they capped people, but obviously they're giving some play now for internet users because everything now is starting to go digital.
But I just love this arbitrary number. It's 250. Now it's 300. And the majority of Americans, they don't go over it, so it's no big deal. And
so then why, if it's not a big deal, what I don't understand, if it's not a big deal that
because it's not a big deal today, but in 5 years it will be a big deal.
But the other
Who
thing
cares
is
about the future.
Yeah. So they're saying, for every 50 gigs someone goes over, it's $10. Well, to them, it's about money. It's just another way to generate money because. I mean, it is a small percentage.
Because they're losing money on the TV side. That's the thing. Yeah. A lot more people are starting to disconnect from the TV side because they're like, I'm just getting all my stuff off of Netflix. I'm getting all my stuff off of Revision 3 or TWiT or whoever or us.
But
they're getting it all from us. All right, I know.
Yeah, I'm surprised though that they don't get looked at. And I'm going to say racketeering, but it's not the one. What's the other one where they're
They're Volkswagen it?
No. Yeah, right. Who else just got...
Patterson in the chat room brings up another great point. They're insisting on the triple play. They want you to get TV, internet, and phone. They want you to have a freaking phone. I mean, come on. I mean, who wants a home phone anymore when everyone has a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and in some areas, Comcast is doing a quadruple play, a wireless home phone, and TV and internet. It's nuts.
I think they just need to start thinking more outside the box.
But how do you do that?
That's exactly what I was going to get to.
How do you do that?
How do you do that for a provider that provides all these services?
What do you do at home, Alex? I mean, do you have Comcast?
I have Comcast, just basic cable, and then I have SonicNet for DSL internet.
Oh, okay, so you don't even use
No, I don't use Comcast.
Oh, okay.
What do you guys use at work?
A lot of things.
Oh yeah, you're gonna like this.
We had originally
it's Comcastic.
Originally we had a 35 megabit symmetrical EFM from SonicNet and a DSL connection for office use. That wasn't enough for certain people's upload speed requirements. One of the editors. So we got a deal with Comcast, or had a contract with them to trench cable down the block, trench fiber down the block into us. So now we have 100 megabit fiber from Comcast with a long contract of some sort.
That must have been expensive.
Nice.
Probably. I don't know how much it costed, but it was fun to watch.
Too cool. Joe,
100 megabit, nice.
Now, Joe and I, we have fiber, and we're very, very happy to have it. Right now, Frontier does not have any plans to institute caps on their fiber people. Actually, in this neck of the woods in the Northwest, they are pushing, can you believe it's still television? There was rumors that they were going to pull out of TV, but at least up here, they're pushing it strong. The triple play, they still want to get people tied in with that. But Joe, what do you think about, we do have a mutual friend that works over at Comcast, but what do you think about what Comcast is doing and possibly charging for overages?
Well, I think one observation somebody could make from this is that they've said, just like some companies have said for years, that these high bandwidth users are stretching their network and it's causing problems, and that's the reason why they have to have these caps. But obviously they're saying, well, that's not totally the case, because if you give us a little bit more money, it's obviously not going to stress our network anymore. So I mean, it's the same sort of thing that we've talked about with wireless, where this statement of these caps, these users that are using, the super high, amazing, unbelievable amounts of data are causing serious strain on our equipment and our network, and they're causing problems for other people. But again, somehow $10 makes it better. So I don't know. I'm glad to not have to deal with this, to not have to worry about this. I do wish that they could just get over themselves and offer straight up internet, not have to try to push you into all the other things. I actually had a Comcast guy stop by the other day and tell me.
Oh, I love those visits.
He told me a straight up lie right to my face. I couldn't believe it. I said, no, I'm on FiOS and you're not going to get me to switch. And he said, oh, why not? And I said, because I have 35 by 35 and you guys can't offer anywhere near that upstream, and that's what I want.
Yep.
And he said, oh, so you must have gotten in early enough that you're not on a data, and I said, and there's no data cap. And he said, oh, so you must be grandfathered into no data cap. And it was like, wait, FiOS doesn't have a data cap.
No.
Still. So, whatever. But I mean, he's just trying to make a sale. He probably doesn't really even work for Comcast. He's probably a subcontractor or something like that. But no, I think this is obviously more of the same. This is what we should expect from data companies going forward, that they're going to say, we can only allow you this much data unless you give us a little bit more cash, then we can talk about something else.
Unless you're Verizon. So Verizon has recently announced that they are preparing to raise broadband speeds for their fiber, possibly prices as well. The rumor is at this point, according to DSL reports, is that they're going to be upping the speeds on 2 of the 4 tiers. They're going to bump the 25 megabits download to 50 megabits downstream and 25 up, and the 35 would go to 75 35. The bumps in service could happen as soon as June 18th, but nothing official at this point. No rumor on or what's going to happen with those markets that used to be Verizon and now that are Frontier. Obviously, right now, Frontier is still licensing the FiOS name. So, I mean, who knows? But, I mean, here's a company, Verizon, that spent a lot of money and actually pissed off a lot of stockholders in putting in this infrastructure. Now they're offering television. Now they're offering superior fiber speeds. This is a company that have seen it for the future. And, I mean, there are also smaller independent ISPs. Like, I think down in California, you were telling me, Alex, like SonicNet, like in Sebastopol is like a huge pilot project for them, right?
Yeah, they're rolling out fiber to select neighborhoods.
What kind of plans do they
Isn't
offer?
that like the
I don't know.
gigabit? The gigabit ones we talked about a while back?
Well, like let me pull it up here on the screen, but there is a, up here in the Seattle metro area, there is a, the area is called Issaquah. They have an Issaquah fiber network, which it's called the Highlands Fiber Network. And let me pull it up here. But here it is, and here are some of the plans that they have. So they have a 10-10 plan for $45 a month. They have a 100 down, 20 up plan for $55 a month.
Wow.
And here's the big one, a gig down, 100 up plan for $200 a month. They are touting this as the fastest internet in the nation. It's not available to all residents. They require an on-site review of your home and a one-time upgrade fee if your home qualifies. But even the middle plan, the 100 down, 20 up for $55 a month, and this is a straight, HOA, their own private fiber network. So if I ever get rich and I can afford to live in the Highlands, I will be moving there promptly to get that gig down, 100 up. Joe, you want to buy a house and we can all pull it in together? What do you think, man?
I'm down for that too.
It's tempting, but the commute for me would be kind of a bitch.
You can telecommute with that
remote
much speed.
Yeah, TWiT could actually set up a satellite office with that kind of a fiber connection. You know?
Right.
I mean, jeez, that's the sick stuff. All right, let's go from one. Let's see here. Let's talk a little bit about Microsoft. Actually, a couple of cool Microsoft stories. First off, what kind of cell phone you got over there, Alex?
I have a Windows phone.
And how are you liking that Windows phone? Are you running the new software, the Mango software?
Yeah, that's all fine. I personally like it.
Can you believe that it's actually outselling the iPhone in China?
I cannot
According
believe
to
that.
Microsoft.
According to Microsoft.
I
and Microsoft would never lie.
I can and can't believe it because they were doing a push for cheap lower end hardware for China with the new build of the operating system, the Tango build.
Yeah.
So maybe that took off, but it's outselling iPhone. I don't know.
It's especially on the Nokias, they're very clean. Was that you doing the video of didn't you have like a Nokia review unit?
I did.
That was you.
The Lumia 900. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had to give it back, and you were
that was sad. I had to give it back.
And I saw the video of you wiping it.
Yeah, I miss it.
So why don't you go get one?
Because it's on AT&T and I'm on Verizon. Verizon only has one Windows phone still.
Is that the problem, you think? That, you have one handset on Verizon? I mean, you have no options.
Well, on AT&T you have plenty of options.
So what do you think that is? Do you think it's just AT&T or Microsoft?
I think it's because most of the makers are trying to make phones for GSM, which is a worldwide standard, as opposed to the networks that Verizon and Sprint use, which are standards in the U.S.
And also, Verizon is just pushing the Droid and stuff. So
that's true. They did throw a lot of money George Lucas's way so they could use the name Droid.
Right. Yeah.
They want to get as much out of it as they can.
Yeah.
Have you tried other OSs like Android and
just playing
iOS?
with it on just someone else's, but I've never actually owned another one.
So Windows Phone was your first?
Was my first smartphone.
Oh wow!
And for what I use it for, it's great.
That's awesome.
But I don't know
did
what
you
I'm
jump
missing.
straight to Windows Phone 7, or did you start with 6.5 or anything like that?
No, just Windows Phone 7. So
silence.
Well, I mean that's why he moved to a Windows Phone. If he'd used Windows 6.5, then he would have been like, nope, staying away from that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Windows 6.5 Oh my God.
That was terrible.
Was that a phone OS? I can't.
Windows
Windows Phone, or was it Windows Mobile 6.5 or something like that? I can't remember.
Windows Mobile 6 and then 6.5, where they 6.5 was when they kind of put the touch stuff on top of the old OS, trying to make it iPhone-like, but it just, once you like dug deep enough, is just you could see the strings.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So let's so we're fair and balanced. Let's talk now about an Apple story, and allegedly Apple. There's this. They have there's this company in iPads and stuff.
Are they big?
Well, actually, Wenatchee's got a lot of great apples out there, a lot of different types, really nice orchards. So allegedly, supposedly, according to a report, Apple is being courted by cities all across the country. These cities are desperate. They want Apple retail stores to open up in their neck of the woods. New York City is reported to only charge Apple a fraction of the amounts other retail stores are charged, or restaurants. And Salt Lake City offered 5 years of free rent to get Apple to come and join their city. Are Apple stores really that big of a deal? I mean, the only time I've ever been in there is I've had a couple of problems with my iPhone. I'll go up to the Genius bar, and they would help me out and take care of me.
There's always people in there.
Yeah,
all the time.
I was going to say that every Apple store I've ever been to, and granted I've only been to like 3 or 4 of them, but every single one I've ever been to has always been busy, regardless as to when I've been there.
Right. And because of that, it's a pain to shop at. And
they've gotten better especially with the whole. It is weirder than heck buying a product on your cell phone, put it in your pocket, and walking out of the store. But I've done it, and that sort of thing makes it a little bit easier to deal with. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's surprising. I think they mean the main reason they want to pull Apple in is not so much tax income, although eventually they'll get some of that, but more it'll help other businesses in the area, and they'll get the tax income from those businesses.
I think they also like to try to maybe revitalize maybe a struggling mall, but I mean, you don't see Apple going into an area that is struggling or has low foot traffic. You typically see Apple stores in already heavily trafficked.
Well, yeah, I mean they're
areas.
doing their research before they'll agree to open a store. Even if they get a whole bunch of benefits from the mall owner or whoever it is, they're still going to look at the how the economy is in that area. And I mean, they're not going to open one in the middle of a super rundown part of some random state. So they're going to go to a higher end area of town.
So how did Apple do it right? I mean, obviously we've seen Gateway open up retail stores, and that failed. Remember the cows?
Oh God.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you have Microsoft doing their store thing, and they're in a few malls, but they're really pretty much in malls. They don't have like kind of standalone locations like Apple stores do, or in weird, unique places. What makes this Apple experience click, and what makes it so special? Is it the design? Is it the open atmosphere? Is it just because it's Apple and it's the secondary party of the consumer market? I mean, Alex, what do you think? What do you think that makes it so special going into an Apple store?
I haven't been in an Apple store in years. And
I've
only been in a couple times, so I'm not the best person to ask.
I think it's kind of like the chic of Apple, of being in the store. When I was in the stores, here in Alderwood, I would go in. I'd spend like an hour and a half in there, just doing whatever until my wife would come out and she'd come grab me, and I don't know what it is. It's like a tech haven, like if you're or a geek haven almost.
Well, you're able to go into the store and go hands-on. You're able to mess around with anything you want. You can touch anything you want. You don't have, like, if you go into a Best Buy or if you go into any type of other electronic store and you try to, like, say, kind of use the computer and maybe look at the properties, like, you get locked down, or I'm sorry, you can't access that because that's locked down. And at Apple Store, you have the free mobility to do what you want to do.
You can edit a video on their computer.
You can use their webcam and do a vlog.
Yeah.
Didn't I just
There was somebody who actually did a music video. I think he recorded the music video using a MacBook Pro or something in an Apple Store.
Right.
And it's basically him standing in front of the computers. People are walking behind him, yelling and screaming and singing into the Mac. But yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want. I mean, within reason. They'll kick you out eventually, I hope. But,
Joe, you might need to unplug and plug your mic back in, by the way.
So basically, you're saying they've got free samples. You go in there, Takes a couple apple wedges and some free other fruit.
Get some apple swass.
Yeah, some free samples.
Apple swass. Oh.
With that.
Yeah, if you've never used an iPad or an iPhone or an iPod, you can go into or a Mac or anything like that. You can go into an Apple store and play with one for a couple hours, and nobody's going to stop you. I mean, they'll be more than happy to have you there.
Very good.
So, and as people are saying in the chat room that they've actually had people go to an Apple store and hang out there long enough they've ordered pizza for delivery to the Apple store.
Oh my God!
And stuff like that.
Oh
so,
crap!
I mean,
that reminds me. I forgot to order pizza. Isn't it?
Fail.
Wow.
Well, I think it's because it's Apple and because of the selective brand that Steve has built up recently, that they're really known for high quality, and so they really want to be very selective about how Gateway diluted the areas that they opened.
But also Gateway,
and they weren't known for high
well,
quality.
their stores were very nondescript. They weren't like, oh my God, this is such a beautiful place and a beautiful experience. They just had cow boxes. That's all they had.
It wasn't something that you would go into and you'd be like, wow, this is great. Wow, look at all these moo cow boxes. And, it's not something. It was just a computer store.
Yeah.
And it's like going to a car dealership.
Yeah.
It's not something that you would think, oh, you know what? Hey, let's go hang out at the Apple store.
And that's the thing too. It doesn't feel like a car dealership where you walk in the store and you feel like there's vultures about ready to pounce on you to get you to buy their laptop. And they don't push their extended service plan. They just ask you at checkout very politely and make you feel guilty for not buying one. No, I'm just kidding. So.
I mean, as we all know, anything with Apple is a magical experience.
It's extraordinary. It's simply indescribably beautiful.
It's breathtaking.
It's breathtaking.
Just like Retina.
It's a FlowMastic experience.
Hey.
The FlowMaster does not endorse.
The FlowMaster does not endorse.
Approve.
That's right. All right. Do you have the links in front of you?
I have some of them.
Would you like to pick our last geek story before we move on to gaming topics? Because we don't have time for all the geek stories this week.
We don't?
No.
Oh, we have such a selection now.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say we've done a Microsoft story, we've done an Apple story. We should probably do an Android story.
Yeah, I was looking at the PC in your pocket thing.
Okay, let's do that, shall we? Joe, why don't you tell us about it?
Oh, well, all right.
You stepped in it.
Snap. Gotcha.
So basically, it's kind of a cool device. It's a little USB thumbstick size full-fledged computer. Runs Android 4.0. They're calling it the Android 4.0 mini PC. So it runs ice cream sandwich. Yeah, ice cream sandwich.
Ice cream.
Shoot, I forgot to call it turkey sandwich or something this time.
That's right.
And basically, it has a mini HDMI output on it, so you plug it into your TV using that. You can use a wireless mouse and keyboard, and it has 4 gig of onboard storage and a micro SD slot. So
wow,
it's a full-fledged computer running Android ice cream sandwich on it. It's got a 1.5 gig processor and 512 gigs of memory, and it says it'll do amazing things.
Like what?
I have no idea. Run ice cream sandwich.
If this thing ran Windows XP, I would put I would make
Wait,
After Effects.
What's within Windows XP here?
It's great.
Yeah, it couldn't run Windows XP because Windows XP is no longer a product made by any company.
Yeah.
And why would you want to do that anyway?
Well, render farm. I mean, if you think I thought about this for the Apple the mini PC that they had, and you turn that into a Windows XP box or a Windows 7 box or something, and you have $150.
But why would you want to run Windows on it when you could do a render farm in Lightwave or some other open source?
Yeah, I mean, there's other stuff like that. But
you could put it under software that doesn't require a GUI as all that overhead.
I don't know. I was just thinking about it on the very low prototype end.
So you can have one of these as a PC in your pocket, or you can stitch a bunch together and have pants, a render farm pants made of them.
Hey,
hey man, hook into my render farm.
We had a pick of the week a few weeks ago. What about? And they're already talking about it in the chat room. What about Raspberry Pi?
$25.
Well,
what about that?
It's sold out.
On its way out. I think John talked about it, and I think there's a difference though in terms of the Raspberry Pi is going to only have a 700 megahertz ARM processor. It only has 256 megs of RAM, and so it's a little bit less capable than what this new device is, but it is cheaper. It's about a third the price, $74 instead of $25. But You know, it's interesting. I'm not probably going to pick either one of them up, but I think it's cool.
Is that a Android in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? I mean,
I think I would put a regular Linux distro on it and turn it into a mini server or something like that. You know,
you know what? All those 1990s and 1980s future movies where they had the LCD screen and a keyboard and no computer, and we were like, "Where's the computer?" This is what it's turning into. The computer's going to be so small you don't even see it anymore.
And then we'll
I think this is what's going to drive Google Glasses.
And you know what? This is what's going to plug into the beautiful Apple TV that we're going to see very, very, very soon.
This won't.
It'll have a it'll have an HDMI port. Wouldn't that be
I'm
ironic?
not sure. It'll either be HDMI or it'll be DisplayPort.
Oh.
That'll be the day when we get
a lot of stuff behind DisplayPort with Thunderbolt. And all
God,
that
I hate DisplayPort.
Are there any TVs that are being made with DisplayPort?
I know there are several that are being made with it, but they're also being made with HDMI on them. I mean, the attraction to DisplayPort is it can drive a lot higher resolution than HDMI can.
Yeah, I would imagine once the first 4K displays get available, that we'll probably see.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So before we move on to the gaming topics, I know Alex, you had some surprises possibly planned. Was there any other surprises you wanted to let us know about, or?
I mean, if we're
We're gonna move into the gaming section of our show here. It can wait, or you can.
Well,
I
brought a couple things, some relics of.
Is this show and tell?
A show and tell of Will. So
very good.
So you kind of wanted to talk engineering stuff and how TWiT works with me. Well,
yeah.
I have a piece of equipment pulled out of the brick house,
stolen.
Hopefully it's still everything is still running there. But I have one of the many HDMI to SDI converter boxes from Blackmagic that we use for every camera.
Wow.
So all of our cameras, we take HDMI video out, and each camera has one of these, which converts it to SDI, which is what goes into our video hub, where we route everything to everything.
Very cool.
So this is an actual unit.
What's with the? Let me show this to the camera here. What's with the sick face on there?
That is Burke's way of showing that it's broken.
Oh, so it's just a glorified paperweight.
Yeah, Burke thinks he can fix it. So
how would you even go about to fix it?
You
replace some chips.
You'll have to ask Burke.
Oh wow.
Transistors, capacitors.
I can fix it.
Wow, very cool. What's the retail on one of these usually?
I think $300 is
cool.
Wow,
cool.
It's
going right on eBay.
When
Nice.
we bought 500 or not, when we
500
when we bought 30 of them for the 30 cameras that we had, they were $500. But now they've gone down in price since then, and
you bought 30 of them.
We have 30 cameras or so in the studio, so each
$500
camera has one.
Wow,
it's $1 million studio. Do you know about the new brick house?
I do not know.
But I mean, we could have done professional SDI cameras that are like $10,000, or we could do these what's
nice converters,
$3,000 packages of a $2,500 camera and then a $500 converter.
Right.
So,
right.
And that we still get SDI out and good video, so it works.
Yeah.
Now one other thing.
Okay.
One more.
I have, and this. So unfortunately, you can't keep this because Burke thinks he can fix it, so I have to take it back.
No problem.
But I do have something that I'm going to give to you as a souvenir that no one will
the
understand.
The fez on your hat.
The what?
Oh. It would go well with my very small hat collection.
Well, actually, for now, you should wear this for the rest of the show.
Whoa!
You got to show him. You got to show him what it says.
Okay. So, one of the shows that Leo does is with Dick DiPartolo, and it's called the Daily Gizwiz. Now it's the Daily Weekly.
It's the Weekly Daily.
It's a Weekly Gizbiz.
Weekly Daily Gizwiz.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Jizz whiz biz.
Giz.
Oh, is that what it says? I'm sorry.
Oh man! So here's the hat.
I'm just happy that you got it from the FlowMaster.
So here's the so here's the hat. As you can see, at gizwizbiz.biz.
Now there's a button underneath the bill there. And now if you click it, the LEDs will turn on. Click it 3 times, and then all of them will be on.
Oh my God, that is so pimp! Look at that.
High speed. It's an airplane coming in for landing.
Have you guys ever heard of Track IR?
No.
Okay, so it's this is a real quick tangent. It's a motion tracking piece of hardware. So if you play games like Arma or racing games or flight sims, you can actually move your head a little bit, and it'll track the movement. It uses IR lights in their little add-on, and you can actually replace those LEDs with IR blasting LEDs.
Ooh.
That is very cool.
Well, there you go.
So here you go, folks. And now I'm going to blind everybody.
Oh man,
That's so freaking cool, man. That's awesome.
sure glad I'm not sitting directly across from him.
Very
I just
good. I'll
ignore
turn
him
this
anyways.
off, not to blind everybody. No, that's pretty.
So can you buy a hat just like that, or is it just?
I can't remember who makes it, but yes,
Somebody.
someone.
I have a TWiT hat up there too.
Oh yeah, very nice.
I don't wear it much anymore because it's little sweat stained.
Because you hate us.
No, it's sweat stained.
Yeah,
It's really
right.
nasty
That's,
looking.
Whatever,
now.
that's fine. Anyway, so the thing I was getting to was so we did a we did a little video thing called Encoding Today, where we discussed.
I should cue that up, by the way.
Where we discussed what encoding changes that we're going to do with Russell, who was developing it, and we were talking about the his multi-transcode Internet Go package that he's working on. And there's a little souvenir from that I'd like to give to you to.
All right.
keep on your shelf.
Before you show me your souvenir, I'm going to go ahead and pull and show off Encoding Today. So here we go.
Encoding methods. Encoding methods. Encoding methods.
We'll probably get a YouTube takedown notice for this for some reason.
So our next guest coming is the author of this book, Multi-Transcode Internet Go. Please welcome our guests, Russell Tammany and Colin
You know what I just
Lear.
realized, Alex? That was the only time I saw the second camera. Was that at that? Oh, this part here, and that was it. During the whole interview, there was no second camera view.
So Multi-Transcode Internet Go.
No, the low bandwidth.
So tell us
Oh,
about
that's
this,
right.
about this book.
But the book, well,
It's a very big
isn't
book.
as interesting as what we're actually doing.
Oh,
sure
my
it is.
God!
Look at all these pages.
Oh my God,
It's
folks! Look at this.
The
Let me turn
book.
this.
Okay, well,
let me
then
turn
that
this
is-
down. Right here, live in the studio, Multi-Transcode Internet Go.
The book.
The book. And folks, it's real. I gotta tell you, look at this. I'm gonna just show. I'm gonna show you.
Who did you get to publish that for you? That's a nice, high quality publishing.
Look at that.
We have an HP MFP printer.
Oh wow.
Has the hole punch built in, or did you have to do that manually?
No, that was
as a-
separate. We also have a 3-hole punch.
Oh, okay, okay.
Wow,
So-
I gotta say, I mean, you know, from YouTube to my heart, I'm impressed.
Is it autographed?
No.
Well, Russell wasn't around to sign it. He was
Yeah,
in Japan for the last
Russell's
week.
the author of this
Yeah.
awesome. But here, I'll pass it over to you, Giancarlo, so you can check that out. Wow, I'm impressed.
I hope you enjoy it.
Do you need somebody to read that to you, Giancarlo?
Oh my God.
Do you have that actually in ebook format, by the way? Is that available for Kindle?
We're
or-
working on it.
Okay.
Once we get the final draft, we're working on that. Yeah.
Now, do we have to get that from Amazon, or can we get it from Barnes and Noble as well?
Yeah,
Ooh,
John
that's
has a
good
Nook.
question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, my beautiful Nook. there.
Just only the Apple bookstore.
You're shaking the camera, John.
Good.
we don't have the camera suspended in air like TWiT
Yeah,
does.
that was only my forehead on the table.
You okay there, John? I'm not so ducky anymore. All right. No, awesome. Thank you for the gift, Alex. That's very, very, very kind of you to do.
Enjoy it with the FlowMaster's compliments.
The FlowMaster delivers again. So let's move on to some gaming topics. Big gaming week. 2 huge releases. The first one that we will chat about is Diablo 3.
Diablo what?
3.
Three.
It's. I gotta loosen this hat. I'm losing blood pressure.
What 3?
Diablo
Diablo
3. No. He asked me to wear it for the
Diablo.
rest of the episode. I'll do that. So, John, you are the resident Diablo player here. You played Diablo 2 to death.
Yep.
You even played on the Itronics Weezer.
Yep.
Did you do it? Did you pull the trigger? Did you get Diablo 3?
No, actually, I did not.
Why?
Why? Because I was working on my vehicle and playing Eve. No, interesting enough though, my brother called me this afternoon. Did you get it? I'm like, what? Diablo 3. I'm like, oh, yeah, no.
Well, that's if you could even get online.
Yeah, it doesn't even sound like you would have needed to because people are having so many problems right now.
I guess my nephew's played through it already, and he's already starting on his second path. He blitzed through it, and then he's like, okay, well, maybe we'll slow down and look at a little content. I didn't get a chance to talk to him about it. My brothers playing it, and my sister-in-law are playing it, and I don't know, he didn't have any complaints about it as far as connectivity.
My number one reason why I'm not purchasing it, and I know it might be blasphemic or whatever.
Because
Heretic.
your wife has already bought it?
No, she hasn't bought it.
Oh. What?
I'm not buying it because it requires always-on DRM. I am not buying it because you can't even play the single player offline. You are required to log into Battle.net. And so a lot of people who paid their money, who pre-ordered and preloaded the game,
could
not even play it. And it's even the single player experience.
They were holding it wrong.
Oh.
And how are you supposed to hold it?
I don't know.
Okay.
With the other hand.
Joe, did you pick it up?
No.
Your mic's going again.
We've lost Joe.
Yeah.
He's exceeded his bandwidth.
Joe has been capped. So
There's something else going on.
Maybe. I don't know. You look good.
You're out of gigahertz.
You're out of gigahertz.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
Oh, he freed up some gigahertz.
No, I didn't pick it up, and I'm not expecting I'll ever pick it up.
Is Diablo not your kind of game, though?
Well, no, I mean, I did play Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 a little bit. I didn't, I wasn't obsessed with them like some people. But one of the problems is, you talk about having to have a Battle.net account. I had a Battle.net account for a while, and I had the authenticator that they said to hook up to and all that kind of stuff, and it was on my old iPhone. And when I got rid of that iPhone, I didn't even think about it because I wasn't playing WoW or doing anything with that. And now the only way to get that back is to send Blizzard a photocopy of a state-issued ID to prove that you are who you say you are, and then they will unlock and remove the authenticator from your account.
Wow.
And I'm just not willing to do that. I don't think a gaming company ever really needs to have my state-issued ID on file for any reason whatsoever. That's just my opinion.
Did you not know that?
I didn't realize that. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the only way to recover an account if it's if the authenticator's been removed or has been compromised or something like that.
Pretty extreme.
I was going to say.
Well, I mean, they had a lot of problems with people stealing accounts in the past, so I kind of understand it. But no, I still won't be doing it.
I'm actually waiting for Torchlight 2. It does not require always-on DRM. It even has a LAN mode, and it's going to be $20. A third of the price of what Blizzard is charging.
That's the difference between a mainstream, giant, overhuge developer and an indie dev.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? And actually, I can't wait to talk to those guys.
And these Torchlight guys, these are guys that have worked on Diablo in the
past. Yes, you're right.
And they even had the composer who make the music for that game.
Did you know Alex composed music?
I did not.
Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit?
A few years ago, I wrote me some music for an independent game company, and that was published. The game was published finally like a couple years after I left, and I actually got a check.
What game is that?
It's a game called Detour. It's on Steam.
Really?
It's an indie
I was literally just playing that a few days ago.
Are you serious?
Joe, he wants to know if you're serious. Joe's not joking.
No, I'm totally serious. I have it.
What kind of game is this,
I was
Joe?
looking through my Steam library of games that I haven't played in a while, and that was one of them. So I was like, what the hell? So I installed it, was playing it. I think maybe I want to say like Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe.
Okay, so the music when you're in the main menu, it's like a piano thing with kind of like a cheesy sounding thing.
Okay, I mean. I played
that was
but
me.
I didn't really pay attention to the music. I will now.
Come on, the music did not stand out.
He was setting you up.
That's sort of the thing about good music, right? Is it should be able to stand on its own, but it also shouldn't detract from the game.
That's true. So I did four small tracks, and then I quit, and someone else took over. But this is after I was working for a long time on a game that was eventually canceled. So I did more music with them. It wasn't just those four.
So now, Joe. So now you can say you've met a audio composer of an awesome game on Steam called Detour that everybody should check out.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
And you keep getting residual checks for that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I only got the one check that one time, so
you better look back at your contract.
The contract was very loose.
So, this is not really a huge.
You didn't even ask me if I played Diablo 3.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
No, I didn't.
I knew you didn't. You're just playing iRacing, and
that's not true.
Oh, you're not. What are you playing?
I'm also playing Firefall Beta.
Okay.
I'm also playing a lot of Counter-Strike.
All right, let's move on to the next.
Next.
This is not a Counter-Strike show. All right, now. Hey, I don't know if you guys know, but E3 is coming up in just a few weeks. We're going to be there. That's right, GeekGamer.tv is going to be there. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show. But in case you're wondering, the full E3 2012 press conference schedule is beginning to unfold. Microsoft holds their press conference first Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. Then EA will happen in the afternoon along with Ubisoft, and then Sony, and then Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Nintendo, and then the show opens at 10 a.m. on Tuesday.
Man, I wish someone would cover that.
You know what? We are covering it.
Oh my God!
Yes, we are. We're going to be in Los Angeles.
Are you going to be live?
We're going to be live.
Whoa, that's big time.
And this is not even scripted, folks.
Yeah, but Sans the best part of the show.
What's my line?
That's incredible.
Oh, that's incredible. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. John will be there, Jim Bob, myself, and Cameron Atchley will be. Thanks to LiveView, our sponsor, we're going to be down in Los Angeles giving live streaming coverage. And we'll talk more about it towards the end of the show, but you can always head over to geekgamer.tv/E3 to find out more info. But yeah, now we will not have access to these press conferences.
No.
But that's okay. That's
Hey,
okay.
Chase?
Yes.
Who's Jim Bob?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. You said he was going to be there.
Yeah, well, isn't there always Jim Bob there?
Well, you said John and you and Chase, or and Cameron and Jim Bob.
And Jim Bob.
Hey, you forgot Joe.
Yeah.
Well, I said Joe was going to be there.
No, you didn't.
I didn't?
No, you called him Jim Bob.
Yeah.
And you left out Aziz.
Aziz Light. Joe needs a new microphone. We need to get Joe a soundboard and an XLR and be done with it so we can get off USB stuff. Oh, that thing. That microphone. The PR40 from Heil.
Oh, is he donating that?
No problem.
Remember those care packages? They have to stick with me.
Remember, you get headphones and you get a PR40.
I forgot to bring my AKGs.
Yes, I should have. One of the things that
we give to our guests is pizza late.
Pizza and a ride from the airport. That's right. I picked up Alex from the airport.
Yes, thank you again for that.
Hey, no problem, man. It was my pleasure. One of the big things that we're hoping to get more information about is the Wii U. And Nintendo, there's this leaked picture here of the Wii U controller with what appears to be 2 analog sticks on the corners, as you can see here in the picture. There you go. Wow, isn't that neat?
How dare they go analog?
Yeah, I know. I'm still not 100% sold on this whole controller aspect with a big screen in it. Almost looks like a tablet with just thumbsticks on the side. I don't know if you guys have any opinions at this point. I'm actually hoping that we'll have something hands-on at E3 this year to kind of mess with. But do you play with your Wii at all? Do you have a Wii, Giancarlo?
This is a trick question.
Would you like a Wii with 2 sticks?
Wow.
I bet you that's like a fake. They leaked that. They said, okay, we're gonna hand out this photo to a couple people, and see if it pops up on the internet, so they can find out who the mole is.
But these are tweaks to the controller that were different from what they showed at E3 last year. The sticks weren't there. The large Wii U logo wasn't there. Obviously, the start button. Some of the buttons have been moved around on this picture. So it's going to be interesting to see what Nintendo is going to announce. Let me ask you, Alex. I mean, did you have any chance to check out any Wii U news? Are you interested in it at all?
I have not been paying attention.
Okay.
To this show.
That's all right.
Who are you?
I'm Joe, remember?
Joe, right. Sorry.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Yes, very, very good. And you're from some podcast thing.
TWiT, yeah.
TWiT. You are a TWiT.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Console fanboy at all? Did you ever grow up on Nintendo stuff?
No,
like all of us,
my first console was an N64, and then I went back to SNES and then NES from that. But
that's a good progression right there.
It's a great progression.
But no, I was more of a PC gamer.
Yeah.
Okay.
MechWarrior.
I think consoles have ruined gaming. Modern gaming.
Oh, you think so?
Modern consoles have ruined gaming.
Because PC gaming is superior.
Yes. For certain.
That's a correct answer.
for platformers, consoles are great.
Yeah.
Mario, you need a console, you need the controller, but serious, first-person stuff and
Yeah.
the other kind of things, you need
You
keyboard,
fit
mouse.
into this panel very, very well. by
Thank you,
saying
Joe.
that. You're welcome, Chris. So, hey, what if you have a Nintendo DS and you have nothing to do with it? You have no games for it because you're using your iPhone. Perhaps you could incorporate it into your navigation system. That's right. Toyota and Nintendo has a program that will allow you to use your Nintendo DS as a car navigation system.
I thought you were going to say to drive.
That'd be awesome. It's called Kruma de DS. It turns your handheld gaming system into a remote control for car navigation systems.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Via Bluetooth, you can see optional maps on the DS and input where you want to go. The main Smart Navi unit will only set you back $2,500, while the DS chip will cost you $92. Really, really expensive to incorporate your handheld DS into something like this, but hey,
So that way your
looks
kids
pretty
in
cool.
the back seat can find the quickest route to McDonald's.
Mom, I want to go here.
We're going here.
Here.
How long? Are we there yet? No, look on your DS. Where's Disneyland? We're going there. Sorry.
That's all right. I don't know if you
yours,
guys
Jack.
heard, but EA is trying to seem hip now. They want to get more Kickstarter games on Origin. EA has implemented a new policy for their PC distribution service, which is called Origin. Developers who sell their games digitally can now do so without having to pay any distribution fees for 90 days. So can you believe it? EA, a big company, they want to embrace the indie developer and get them on Origin's platform.
So that they can sell more Origin games.
Yeah,
I thought according to something they talked about not that long ago, EA was an indie developer. Didn't they do the EA Indie Game Pack or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
According to Leviathan, Brian Fargo and crew at In Exile Entertainment are already eyeing this distribution waiver for Origin, which will allow them to reap quite a bit of funds for their upcoming Wasteland 2 when the game does release. Now, it also doesn't explain what EA is talking about where, it's interesting. EA announced last week, or we talked about it 2 weeks ago with the whole rental server thing, how they're getting out of the server business for official EA servers, and now they're getting into this. Do you think EA trying to save face a little bit here, Joe? Or is EA just trying to get more games under their umbrella and on their platform?
Yeah, I think game developers and publishers aren't flocking to Origin as the Steam alternative that EA expected them to do.
Right.
And so this is sort of an attempt to court some of those, especially with how many indie games have shown up on Steam recently. This is sort of an attempt to court some of those.
They're looking at Steam going...
I sure hope that this isn't an exclusive agreement where if you distribute your indie game on Origin, you can't distribute it through any other method. That would be, I think that would be terrible, but it could be the kind of move I think EA would try to make. It just hopefully would have to be a really, really good deal for the developers or the publishers pushing those games.
Now, Detour, Alex, is on Steam. Is it on Origin?
No, just Steam.
And do you know why your developer went through Steam?
Well, Origin didn't.
I know
Origin
they didn't
exist back then, so
right.
that's.
What do you think of Steam? What's your personal opinion?
I always thought Steam was great. It's a great idea, and it's I like how it's taken off, and it's just kind of a good way to just manage your games, and for one as one thing, but also for indie developers to be able to publish on that and be discoverable.
Were you there on like the first year that Steam went live?
No, I was not.
How soon did you adopt Steam?
What was it? I think it was Half-Life 2 Episode 1, I think. That's probably when I got into that.
Okay. And what did you think of it then?
I thought it was great.
Okay.
So, final story before we move on to our picks of the week.
What?
Our picks of the week.
What are those?
I'm not so ducky right now.
No.
Anyway,
all right.
This story is quite interesting. I wanted to pick this as a kind of a discussion topic before we move on to those picks. A new Tekken movie is out now. That's right, a movie based upon the video game Tekken is out, and I'm not really going to talk about this movie, but I wanted to throw out there video games that turned into movies and I would like to go around and ask you guys, what's your favorite video game movie, and what do you think is the worst video game movie? And there's quite a few out there to choose from, quite a few. And I don't know who I should start with first. No one's actually raising their hands right now. I'm going to start with John.
I was going to say that the best, Tron.
Thank
the worst,
you. Very good.
Tron 2. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
I thought Tron was the other way around.
Yeah, it was the other way around.
It was a movie made into video games because it fits so well,
But
rather
it was
than
about a
games
video game.
made into a movie.
It was about a fake video game.
Right, basically.
So I would still think that would qualify for this response. I think Tron is appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know because I don't think it would work.
Are you a Super Mario Brothers fan? I mean, that movie was awesome.
Oh man.
See, I was thinking about nominating that for both.
I am a Super Mario Brothers fan. I didn't think the movie was it. Yeah, it wasn't that.
Don't
terrible.
forget Angelina Jolie and what's that video?
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. Yeah, Tomb Raider. For me, right now at the top of my list, and I'm still listening to the soundtrack today. It's Tron Legacy. I totally love that movie. I love the soundtrack. Just awesome.
You take Daft Punk over Wendy Carlos?
No, I'm not saying. I love the movie. I thought it was good. I mean, God, don't kill me over this. I mean, I feel bad already. The worst? I don't know the worst. I mean, I gotta say, probably worst I've seen. Probably Super Mario Brothers. It didn't do it for me. Honorable mention though, in kind of both categories of love it and hate it, is Street Fighter.
The first one?
With Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, no.
The reason why I give it an honorable mention in both categories is because I thought Raul Julia was a great actor, and it was unfortunate that was his last motion picture. So, hey, I give it up for him and that acting ability, and just really good actor. And Kylie Minogue as Cammy looked really good. So that's and Chun-Li looked good too. So what about you, Alex or Joe or Chris? Whatever your name is.
Yeah, whoever. Alex. That's right
yes,
there.
Yeah.
Best, I would say Silent Hill.
Ooh, forgot about those.
I really liked that movie, and about the first half of the movie was like really close to the first game. Then it trailed off and did its own thing, but it was still really good, I thought. Worst, I don't know, because I haven't actually seen many of like the older like 80s and 90s or I guess 90s video game movies. So,
Mortal Kombat is out there.
I never
Street Fighter.
I never saw those, so I mean those could probably be bad.
Wasn't there a
guess.
Counter-Strike, the movie about those guys on the ship?
Oh, I forgot about Doom. That reminded me of Doom.
I have a story to tell about that.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that's the worst movie, but
first person perspective.
So, my friends and I are big Doom fans, and when we learned about the Doom movie coming out, we knew it from after it was actually coming out. It looked like it was not going to be good, but we still wanted to see it on the midnight release just because the closest theater that was playing it was in Berkeley on midnight. So that night we drove to Berkeley and watched Doom. And we're very disappointed, but we were kind of expecting it to be like that, so it wasn't too bad. But it was still a fun adventure, and some parts of the movie are enjoyable, but I just can't stand The Rock.
Do you smell what he's cooking?
No.
Joe, what about you?
Well, I pulled up the Wikipedia entry on video game list of films based on video games, and they have a list that you can sort by Rotten Tomatoes score or box office. And I thought it's interesting. The highest Rotten Tomatoes score for a video game movie is Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Oh, I heard
43%.
43% is the best.
Right. The lowest is Double Dragon at 0%.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
Now we can change this up and look at box office. So the highest box office grossing video game movie was actually Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. The lowest was Postal. At $146,000.
They made a Postal movie?
U-Bowl made a Postal movie.
Oh,
God.
Ripcord Games is the game publisher. They made a Postal movie in 2007. It was it got 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. It cost them $15 million to make, and again, its box office revenue was $146,000. So anyway, the next lowest by box office is actually Far Cry from 2008, but that one was 755. Prince of Persia was $335 million in the box office on a $200 million budget. So I don't know, but for me personally, I actually thought Super Mario Brothers was different and kind of entertaining, but I probably wouldn't rank it amongst my top 50 movies of all time. That's for sure. But from the list that I'm seeing here on this, it's hard because most of them are terrible.
Yeah, I know.
You know, Lara Croft, actually, the Tomb Raider movies were not that bad.
It's easy to watch because of Angelina Jolie.
That certainly helps.
Yes.
But I mean, in terms of a video game movie, they really weren't too terrible. Same thing goes for the Resident Evil movies. They really aren't that bad.
Paste that link in the chat room for the peeps.
That link, yeah.
Yeah.
Here is the full Wikipedia link. If you scroll partway down, you can see the list of international releases.
Very cool.
So there were a bunch of releases that were Japan exclusives, but I'm just looking at the international releases.
Cool.
So, but yeah, Rotten Tomatoes score gives Double Dragon 0, Alone in the Dark 1%, House of the Dead 4%. Let's see, Mortal Kombat 6%. Chase, you said your favorite was Street Fighter, or one of your favorites?
Tron
Street
Legacy,
Fighter?
and then I had an honorable mention for Street Fighter.
Okay, it was Legacy. Which one?
Tron Legacy.
Oh, Tron Legacy. They don't have the Tron games listed in here because, again, those are not movies based on video games.
Actually, I'm surprised that Resident Evil is down as far as it is on the list.
Yeah, well, Resident Evil Retribution is way down there because it's not actually officially out yet.
No, I meant the other one was like it's still 1, 2, 3.
The other three, they're all sitting in the 20s.
The very first one is actually not that bad. At least I thought the Resident Evil was it Apocalypse?
Yeah, I didn't think that one was that bad either, and it's actually up at 34% on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, the other one's like the first Resident Evil's like the 9th one down.
Look what I started.
Yeah.
Anyway, Street Fighter it got 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
like I said, Kylie Minogue's easy to look at, and Raul Julia, and
before
all that fun stuff.
we leave this one, there's that new Tekken movie. It might be, I mean, I'm a kind of I like the
you like martial arts
movies,
yeah,
kung fu stuff. They do say I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the director's name, but he did Ong Bak and Chocolate, which I really liked Chocolate.
Isn't Chocolat?
However you want to say it.
All right.
Okay. I love chocolate too.
Yeah.
Yeah, chocolate's good. Cookies. And
yeah,
cream.
I like chocolate. But the movie, it's interesting what they did, But at the same time, you look at the stuff on YouTube and some of the stuff when they made Chocolate, being the fact that there's where they were filming it, the safety isn't as high. They said, quite a few of their guys ended up in the hospital making that movie. Even their little heroine.
Oh, Wing Commander.
Yep. Anyways,
Wing Commander.
What an amazing movie.
I wish they make a Trade Wars movie. That'd be awesome. Trade Wars.
Trade Wars.
How about Max Payne? Nobody's mentioned Max Payne.
Yeah, they've made that already.
Yeah,
I know.
And that
Payne,
game
they did. It ranked 16%.
And that game came out this week too, and we didn't really talk about it.
That's true. It was it came out on consoles this week. It doesn't come out for PC for another couple weeks.
That's why we're not talking about it.
That's why we don't care.
And on that note, let's move on to our final segment, and that is our picks of the week.
Nobody picked Max Payne, right?
No.
Okay.
These are our geeky and gaming other neat item we like here at geekgamer.tv. Each one of us, except for... No, I'm just kidding. Everyone has submitted something to the table. We're going to start with Mr. John Kessler. John, what is your pick of the week?
Oh, I wasn't even ready. You just totally threw me under the bus.
I didn't throw you under the bus. I said we're going up for picks of the week.
Yeah, and usually.
And now it's time for John Kessler for his pick of the week. So, John,
all right,
what is your pick of the week?
Well, I thought this was interesting. In the UK, they've actually developed a video game for people with strokes. They're trying to get them up It's to help them, if made a fun way for them to get to exercise and trying to get mobility back on their bodies. People kind of do smash on games. It's like, oh, you just sit there and you vegetate. No, because you do have a couple things going on. Like I said, they're up and moving, or sitting and moving, as the one guy's probably not standing quite yet. He's got a couple. They look like someone's version of a Wii remote in his hands, moving around. Plus, you think it keeps them, mentally stimulates you.
That's pretty cool.
They're working on it there in the UK, and Chase has got the links in the show notes there.
I do. So it's not a Wii. They're not using a Wii, but it's something custom.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously this is according to this article, it's the first time a lot of them have ever played a video game. So the whole motions are doing natural moving motions. Couldn't they just play Wii bowling?
Possibly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, they probably could.
And John feels terrible about it. Okay,
Yeah.
well, fine.
Because this is when I get old enough and I stroke. This is what I have to look forward to.
Well, you just turned like 67, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're like Social Security now. So
almost.
Very good.
Yes.
All right, Giancarlo, you're up next. What's your pick of the week?
In an open world, there is one game called DayZ.
No, DayZ, an Arma 2 mod. This mod, made by a Bohemia Interactive employee, the guys who make the Arma games, has shot Arma 2 to the top of the Steam best-selling list.
Oh wow!
This mod single-handedly put that mod back on the list, and this is a game that had been out for a little more than a year and a half, almost 2 years now, and it is by far one of the best experiences that you can have in a zombie shooter game. It's open world. It's not. There's not any one server that you connect to. There's a whole bunch of servers, and they have a limit of how many players there are. But you drop in, and you're basically out in the middle of nowhere. Over 225 square kilometers. You got to find.
It looks really cool.
It is very cool. If you are a zombie lover, this is your mod. Buy the game for cheap if you can find it, or buy the game.
Can
as
you
it
find the
is.
game on Steam? Is it on Steam?
It is on Steam. In fact, the developer recommends that you buy it through Steam, so you help to purchase or help the developers with the profits.
My wife is really big into zombie stuff, and so I'm definitely going to show this to her. This looks really, really cool.
Now, because he worked for BIS, he had access to the motion cap systems that they have and some modeling and things. So he was able to make some new custom animations for the zombies and incorporate them, and some new weapons like a crossbow that's more silent than guns. So if you shoot a gun in a highly infested zombie area, yeah, expect to have a horde on your hands.
Wow, this looks phenomenal. Is this multiplayer?
This is fully multiplayer. This is the only way to play it is multiplayer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the servers, the server and the game itself are they are persistent. There's multiple levels of persistency here. So if you are in the game on one server and you transfer to another server, you will have that same character and items on that other server and in the same location that you logged off on.
I love how it says here on the site here, average life expectancy 28 minutes.
Yes.
That is freaking awesome.
Yes.
And I want to try this badly.
When you make your character, I mean, you don't have like a whole lot of stats or anything like that. You make a character. They are persistent, and there is a permadeath. So you have to go back and make your character again if it dies.
Oh my god, this is freaking awesome.
And not to mention, in the Arma 2 games, this is only one of the only games that I know of that has a 3D positional audio system through voice over IP.
Oh.
So there is not a broad... I think it's actually disabled by the mod, is you can't talk globally to all the people on the server, but you can talk locally.
Wow.
In the position that you're at with another player.
Oh, that's so freaking cool.
And
wow, what an awesome pick.
You don't start with anybody near you. So if you see somebody that's running around being chased by zombies, he may be bad. He might try to steal your stuff, or he might want to help you.
Great pick. So we'll have a link in our show notes. The website is DayzMod, DayzMod.com. And what game is that for again?
This
the mod
is for Arma 2.
Arma 2
made by Bohemia Interactive.
And can you get both on Steam?
You can get the game on Steam. You'll have to go to the website and then download the mod.
Gotcha. Awesome stuff. We'll have a link in the show notes once we post this. Awesome stuff. Great pick, Giancarlo. I love it. I can't wait to try it. Joseph Falbey, what's your pick of the week?
Well, I picked something a little different. Again, it's not gaming related, but it's a little geeky. It's a new system coming out from Via I don't know.
Via.
Anyway, they're kind of famous because they make a lot of the they're the third big processor maker in terms of desktop Windows running processors. There's obviously Intel and AMD, and then there's Via with their Eden line of processors. And they just released a new piece of hardware that's of interest to me because it's designed for going in vehicles. It uses a 1 gigahertz Eden processor, and they say it supports full hardware acceleration of 1080p video.
Wow,
So
I like this.
It's supposed to be a relatively cheap thing. It runs off just the car's internal voltage. You don't have to have an inverter or any special power supply for it or anything like that. It's got a lot of in-out options in terms of different ports and stuff. USB serial. It's got a couple of LAN ports on it. A lot of really cool capability here, and then it even has built-in both PC card and SD card slots. So
this could be something that's very, very useful for public safety. I mean,
right. I think that's sort of, they're not really aiming that direction, but I think they should be.
Yeah.
This is exactly the sort of hardware that I've been looking for quite a while. Building computers to go into vehicles, into police and fire vehicles. So this is just about perfect, and I'm going to have to look into this and see how much the cost is, because it's definitely almost exactly what I need. It'd be nice if it was a little bit more powerful, but the fact that it's fanless and it doesn't have any, it's not going to have a whole lot of thermal output. It sounds perfect. It says it'll operate in temperatures from -20°C to 60°C, which is a pretty big range. So,
what's the cost factor on something like this?
I'm not sure. They haven't really talked about costs yet. It's not actually available quite yet, but it's coming out really soon. And I'm hoping that it'll be for less than $1,000 a PC would be plenty of savings for us to push us to at least try these on a few vehicles.
Very, very cool, Joe. Well, if you're able to get your hands on one of these and actually test one out or whatever, I know a lot of us would be very curious to see what kind of performance you would get on this in the real world. So. Yeah, and
our vehicles are not running 1080p screens. Obviously, we're running screens that are running at 1024.
You're going to get Retina displays, and you're going to put them on the
Retina
cars.
displays in the police cars. That's exactly right. But no, this is, like I said, this is exactly the sort of hardware that I've wished was available for a reasonable price. You can get embedded systems like this that are $4,000 or $5,000. But that's a little bit more than what we're willing to spend, at least right now.
So now you can buy something for like $500 and then just charge everybody for like $3,000.
That's basically what they've been doing. The most recent computers we put into vehicles are ones that I've built, and I build them for between $1,000 and $1,200, not including the displays.
Yeah.
And this, like I said, if this came in for $1,000 or less. If it came in the $500 to $700 range, this would be super, super attractive to just purchase and try in a couple vehicles.
Absolutely. No, I like it, man. Awesome pick. I love kind of hybrid enterprise / it could be used for not only just be used in a car, but you can use it in an extreme situation. Maybe you wanted to set it up as an outdoor computer or somewhere like maybe.
People have talked about using it for digital signage.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I mean, the fact that it will run full 1080p, it'll output that smoothly.
You put PowerPoint on
you
there.
You can put it wherever you want. You obviously couldn't game on it, but if you wanted to do full motion video to a projector somewhere, or there's a lot of capability, a lot of options with hardware like this.
Awesome pick, Joe. We've had some great picks so far, so now we're going to move to our guest of honor. His name is Chris Sampson, and here he is. Oh, I'm sorry, Alex Gumpel. Alex, You don't have a link, but you said you had something to talk about or share.
I couldn't think of anything, so I was just going to do something lame like, my pick is this studio here. You know, it's whatever it's set up because it's like the cottage, whatever. But I thought of something at the last second.
I kind of liked that pick for a minute there.
Well, we'll do that later. So I just sent you an email with some pictures.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of was realizing, like, I was trying to think of something that I've been doing the last week or so that's been cool, but all I've been doing was work. But then I thought, a few days before that, though, I went to an incredible concert with everyone from TWiT that Jammer B took us all to. And we have some group shots from that. And that's the whole reason I'm in Seattle now, is because Jammer B invited me to another one that's in Seattle. And so I'm going to that, which is Roger Waters' The Wall, which is just this incredible thing that if you can go to, you should, because it's just a spectacular visual and just technologically amazing.
Oh, so there's Eileen from TWiT. There's Brian Brushwood.
That's Brian's brother.
Oh, okay.
That's Jay Brushwood.
Okay. I like the Giants mugs there. Looks like you guys... Was this at AT&T Park?
This is AT&T Park. So
okay.
this is at a stadium. The one here is in an arena.
Oh, very cool. Hey, there's you. That's OMG Chad there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Lisa, Leo. Hey, that's the author of my book.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh, my goodness gracious. Awesome.
And Chad's brother.
And Chad's brother. Hey, there's John C.
And yes, he amazingly he was invited and accepted.
And he showed up.
And he showed up. And I hear he enjoyed it.
Oh, awesome stuff. Great experience, it looks like. And you guys, it looks like, had great seats.
We had awesome seats that...
wow.
Yeah, that was quite amazing.
That is... You know what? Even though... I mean, that's still very geeky. And how was the whole experience?
Like I said, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'd go into more detail, but I can't spoil anything because you don't want to be spoiled for something like this. So
what was this? You guys went to go see Avengers?
Who?
This was Street Fighter, right? This was...
Oh, cool.
Street Fighter?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, jeez.
Amazing.
It's simply astonishing.
So, if that counts, it's geeky. If
it
that
counts.
Stuff. And so, if you can see it, even in some way, it's definitely worth it. Even if you're way in the back, it's amazing.
Very, very cool. No, that's a great pick. I like it. It's well suited.
Great. Can I go now?
No.
Gonna miss my flight.
You haven't had pizza yet.
Oh God! Have we ordered the pizza?
We haven't even ordered.
Damn it! Someone order it.
How can we order it? We're on the show.
You order it.
Call him on Skype.
We should do that.
We should do that live.
Oh, God.
Let's do it live.
No, I'm not going to put that on tape, but we'll do it after.
Okay.
All right, because we're almost done. We're in the home stretch. We're like 5-10 minutes.
We should all like have an input.
Let me get to my pick.
Okay, fine.
Oh yeah, you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you.
My pick of the week is a Kickstarter project.
Oh, again.
Ooh.
Wow. My pick of the week this week is a Kickstarter project. It has not achieved its goal yet. It's just under halfway there, but it's got plenty of days to make it. And it's something called the Cord Light. It is an illuminated charger cable for your iPhone. As you could see, you can pledge a minimum of $1 or $25 to kick it off and help make it happen, or $30 or more. Really, let me just play the video. The video is pretty much self-explanatory. So let's say you're in the dark and you're trying to plug in your iPhone, and you can't see the dock connector, and you're flipping it over, and you're trying to cram it in there.
You need a hat like you're wearing.
But most people when they're going to bed don't wear hats in bed, John.
You don't?
No.
I've worn that one in bed.
You don't, Chase? I'm awfully surprised about that.
So here it is.
Maybe that's why I lost all this hair.
It's a cable that has a built-in light. So as you can see, it will light up, and you can see where it plugs in, and it's real simple. These two guys will go on and talk about it. But the premise is really, really simple. It's a dock connector cord that has built-in light. And it works really simple. It would work great in your car as well. You can see how bright it is. It can blind oncoming traffic. But it's really, really cool. You can see there's their test. You plug it in, and once you plug it in, it turns off. But the thing is, it's not on all the time. You basically activate the light, and it just works. You touch it, it activates. It's really, really cool. So you can definitely head over to the website. We'll have a link in our show notes to the Kickstarter project. $30 will get you one in black or white plastic, and includes shipping. So they're on board with this Kickstarter project right now, and they got about 37 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool.
What's their goal?
Their goal is 70,000, and they're right now as of
26
with 37 days. I think it's cool. Really, really neat. And we're hope to be starting on very, very soon. We're in the planning stages of starting a Kickstarter show on geekgamer.tv. So there you go. And things like this really appeal to me, and we would contact them, get them on for an interview, and pick their brain a little bit. So anyway, that's the pick of the week for me. And that's all the picks of the week. Thank you, gentlemen, for some great picks. I want to remind everybody that are watching or listening to us, you can find everything you want to know about us over at geekgamer.tv. There on that beautiful webpage, you can check out all of our latest shows of Minecraft Me, Geek Gamer Weekly. We also have a community forum board where you can jump in the conversation, and we have a full section dedicated to the E3 Expo. And by the way, if you are a podcaster or some other provider out there who loves to share content, and you have a website, please contact me and let me know. Now, right now, if you head over to the E3 page, you'll notice that LiveView, Netcast Studio, and I cannot pronounce it, but Jan Espen, Wirecast Toolbox, actually are donated some money. Now, as you'll see, all these different event partners and sponsors, we're doing this entirely out of our own pockets. We don't have any big corporate sponsors funding our way. So this is an exclusive, very exclusive deal. But if you are watching this show and you mention, I saw it on episode 202, for $50, you can get one of those ads there on the right-hand side, that size, and it can link to your podcast or webpage, whatever you'd like, as long as it's with G-rated, not X-rated or anything like that. But make sure you heard it on this show, and basically you will get the equivalent of the gold level, which is $150. You'll get it for $50. So if you want to donate to the cause, let me know. And there is a contact at the bottom of the page. Or if you just donate and put it in the comments of that donation that, hey, I heard about it on episode 202, you can be a part of things. We're also on iTunes. We're on the Zune Marketplace if you use a Zune, or if you use an Android device for your podcatching, we have RSS feeds at the bottom of our pages. So that's about it. That wraps us up for this episode 202. I want to say a big thank you to this gentleman sitting directly across from me, Mr. Alex Gumpel from TWiT, This Week in Tech. You can follow him on Twitter and his amazing dry sarcasm, which I love. You had some dicks today, by the way, too. How was that?
The dicks were delicious.
Yes.
It was delicious.
I'm glad you enjoyed dicks.
It does seem like anytime I go up there and visit Chase, I end up having some dicks, too.
It's a
You
it's
took
a
him out
tradition.
for dicks. All right.
Well, I took him to the new location in Edmonds.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. But but all seriousness, thanks for coming and visiting with me up here in Marysville.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. This is a lot of fun.
I'm really glad. I'm glad you had a great time, and hopefully Chris, your friend in the other room, has been enjoying the show.
I hope he's not bored out of his mind.
Or he's playing pinball in the garage.
Yeah,
Or
I didn't see him in the living room when I went out there.
Or he's walking home.
I would. But make sure you follow this guy on Twitter. He's at ANELF3. Why 3? ANELF3?
It's a long story.
Okay.
There was an ANELF and an ANELF2 that were family things, and I took
the
3
real
because,
ANELF or something.
Yeah, it's 3, and then it's also because it's not no one has it registered anywhere, so ANELF might be taken somewhere.
Okay, very good. Thanks for joining us. We hope to have you on here again, maybe around PAX time.
Yeah, I should be back in Seattle for that. So
yes,
yeah.
And if we don't get approved for media passes, Alex here was one of the lucky ones to also score a 3-day pass during the very slim 4-hour period. So, worst comes to worst, he'll help me cover the event. If we get media passes, we'll just throw him on the media team. How about that? We'll get you.
Or we'll go get some dicks.
We'll go get some dicks.
Right.
We'll cover some dicks.
We'll cover some dicks. Giancarlo, this guy over here, he's big in the sim racing and all that fun jazz. He doesn't have a Twitter, but if you want to drop him a line, let me know and I'll get it to him.
Yep.
As always, man, it's fun having you, and actually that corner fit perfectly for
Yeah,
you.
hey, I actually like how the way it looks on the screen over there.
It looks great, and I love the TWiT opening day banner there, courtesy of Jim.
Chris Sampson.
Frank.
Random TWiT swag that
Yes.
has no context.
That's right. John Kessler, he's SP_Kenny on most gaming places, at VW Kenny on Twitter.
Lies.
And we'll be doing some camping this weekend.
Yes.
Can't wait for that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Joe won't be joining us because he'll be here the next 2 following weekends.
Yeah.
So that is completely understandable.
So now you got to remind the folks that because we'll be camping next weekend.
Yeah.
And
what we're going to do is we're going to do a very special recorded edition from the woods.
Live from the Outback.
Well, we won't be live because we won't be able to get signal anywhere.
Live tape from the Outback.
It'll be live to tape. So I'm going to bring a couple of microphones. We're going to bring the HD, and we're just going to sit there, John, and we're going to talk about whatever the hell we want.
Burning stuff in the campfire.
That's right. How to burn stuff effectively.
I'm good at burning stuff.
Joseph Falbey, you can look for him. His name is Payback on most gaming places. If
that or PDX Payback, but yeah.
That or PDX Payback. At Falbey on Twitter, and you can also email him, joseph@geekgamer.tv. One of the great co-hosts of Minecraft Me, also on this network. Joe, as always, thank you, man. Lots of fun.
Hey, it's been fun.
Yes. And I want to say personally thank you for all you guys staying up and watching with us. I know a lot of you guys have never seen our show before and are here because of Alex, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We're an awesome community here, and we're very, very happy to have you guys. You can follow me on Twitter at Nunes, Nunes, and we typically do this show every Sunday night around 7 p.m. Pacific time when John and I am on time.
What?
Yeah. But in all seriousness aside, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And we will see you in 2 weeks for another edition of Geek Gamer Weekly. Keep an eye on our live production calendar. We have it all there on the website. And until we all talk again, we are all silent.
Good night, Gracie.
Bob Saget.
Bob Saget.